What's up, guys? So thanks for joining us. It's a lovely Thursday yet again, and we are again talking Canva. Specifically today, we're going to be talking about how to build those little Instagram story highlight icons. That's really specific, and you might not even know what that is, and that's okay because we're going to show you. We're going to tell you how to create those in Canva, and then I have some new technology today. So instead of holding my phone up for you to see what I'm doing, I'm going to be able to share my iPad screen with you guys. So hopefully that will alleviate some eye strain a little bit. So that being said, let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys. So real quick, just so you guys have an idea of what we're talking about here, on Instagram, if you're on someone's page and these little icons here, those are Instagram story highlights. So last week we had a question about like, why would you go to all the trouble of making a story if it goes away in 24 hours? And the reason, number one, is that it helps the algorithm. Number two is that it helps show people behind the scenes. And number three, you can save those stories that you share within your highlights. So that's where those would show up right there. Right now we've got like a work from home one. If I click on that, that's, me and my sweet baby working from home. And that would be one highlight. So if we had more stories that pertain to working from home, they would all go under there. So think of them like folders. That's essentially what that is. So you've kind of got a couple options here. We kind of took an easy way with these right here, but I will show you the process of moving forward. But the easy way is to just select the story that you want highlighted, and it's going to make that the icon. So you can see that if I click on this, that's what the picture is. But there are other examples like Children's Mercy. Oh, I cannot spell it. You guys know I can't. There we go. Children's Mercy. So Children's Mercy has a very specific logo, right? Like this is part of their branding. And what they have done in their stories is utilized a lot of that same branding into their story highlights. So you can see that they have a Giving Tuesday icon, a Facility Dogs icon, Dream Big, Big Slick 10, MVP. The list goes on there. So this is what I'm going to show you how to do in Canva to make these little icons that then you can move over into your Instagram account. And that way you can save your stories in these different folders. So without further ado, we'll jump over to Canva. It's going to be really specific that when you're typing in the search, type in highlight, and it's going to give you that Instagram story highlight cover. Like that's the template for it. So go ahead and click on that, and it will again ask you if you want to start with a blank one or if you want to start with a template. At this point, guys, it doesn't really matter. You can kind of see what they look like, right? If you are planning on putting out a bunch of these, it might make sense for you guys to start with, something that they've already templated out for you. You can see that they have a bunch of these different ones kind of scrolling through there. So we could, let's just go ahead and start with that one. That way we can play around with it from the template. So this one's purple and blue. Of course, that's not the square one color. So the first thing we're going to do is change this like light purple color to a white, and we're going to do that across the board. You can see that it changed a lot of these. Next thing we can do is take this dark purple and change that to our square one blue. Let's do that across the board. And because we don't have a overwhelming amount of brand logos, we can do the same thing with all these other colors, just to stay consistent. You can play around with a lot of this. You want to make sure that everything looks the way you want it to look. Brand color is always really great. Let's make this one black. Fun. Okay, so anyway, so when you go to page 2, you're not necessarily going to need to download this first page. It's just giving you an overview of what is like the following pages. So we can see this first one looks kind of like messaging. If you take a whole bunch of screenshots of messages, or if you have like question and answer stories, anything that has some sort of conversation, then you could absolutely use this. But there are ways to split things into categories that you're going to want to focus on. So at Square One, we focus a lot on like our classes and our events. So if we wanted to get really specific, we could break our stories down into food truck classes, marketing classes, accounting classes. We can break it down into all of those, or we could just group everything into these are all of our classes and events. And what we would do is go over to our elements, and we can type in anything that may represent that. So it's almost like you're creating a logo within your brand. So you get to be as creative as you want. So if I type in something like class and I go to graphics, there's a lot of like fun little graphics that I can use here. Not super in love with any of them, but for the sake of this looks like an online class, right? All right, so I can move that icon there, and then that one can be saved as this is what we're using for all of the stories that have to do with online classes or virtual classes. Then we come down here to the next one. We also have a lot of fun as a team, and you want to be able to share some of that behind the scenes content. So what we may do is have like fun teamwork shenanigans type of folder, right? So let's see what shows up if I just type in fun. Oh yeah, some partying. I like this little guy, some flowers. All right, let's do this one. Another thing with these icons is you see that this has a very similar look, but if I were to use like, I don't know, these little like cartoon people, like that looks like something completely different. Also doesn't fit our brand at all, but you want to make sure that you're consistent across the board. You can also use real photos. I'll show you how to do that down here. We can go ahead and let's go to, we talked about frames last week. We can use this circle, make it about the same size, perfect. And let's do an upload. This is Harlow Lane. She's a local romance author. And if all of our stories had to do with Harlow Lane, right, like that would be a good cover that we could use as a photo opposed to an icon. So let me show you real quick. So we know what the icons look like when it comes to Children's Mercy. Let's try to find another brand that Bliss Books. Love them. So Bliss Books, they're using photos, right, as their icons. They've got their pairings, right? So they pair up books with alcohol. Love it. So they've paired those two together. They've paired this bottle of wine with the wedding party. But you can see that they have just used like a stock image for their icon. So it's completely up to you on how you want these icons to look. Some of you may be asking why. And it's a way for you to categorize your stories on Instagram. So I'm going to kind of transfer over to my iPad just so I can show you a little better on there how you're going to go about doing this, because the process can get a little sticky. So let me share my screen with you guys. Hopefully you guys can see this. So I am on the Square One Instagram page on this iPad here. So if we go to KMBC, it's the first thing that pops up here. We can see that they've got lots of different, you can see them right here, their stories, and they're for the most part using the story itself. But they've got, KC Burgers, KC Donuts, like KU, lots of stuff on there that they're utilizing. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to our icon, to our profile, and we're going to go to our settings up here on the top right corner. Now, to make sure that when you are posting stories, you're going to hit this archive button, and it's going to show you all of the stories that you've sent out in the past. So we've not sent that many, but we've definitely sent a couple. So these are the ones that we've sent so far. We would want to make sure that that archive is on, which if we go to our settings up here, hit settings, and it's going to give you this option right here, save story to archive. You want to make sure that this is on. If it's not on, it's not saving all of that content. So this is one of those like backdoors that you really want to make sure that you cover, because if you share something that was really, really awesome that you wanted to save on your page, but this is not clicked, it's not there. You're gonna have to retake the picture or something. So make sure that you are archiving all of those stories. That means only you can see it. Only the stuff that's archived. All of these things are only available for viewing from the people who manage the Square One Instagram page. Nobody else can see these unless we decide to highlight them. I'm going to show you how we would do that. So let's see. So this strong women lift each other up. If we wanted to highlight that, we've got that button down there that we could do so. So we would click that highlight button, and then we would click which folder or which highlight we want to add that to. Well, this doesn't make sense for work from home, and it doesn't make sense for this like selfie party. So we would maybe click add a new highlight, and we're going to name this one We Love KC. We're going to add that. Now let's view that on our profile, and we can see that's how we would add a highlight. So another way that we could do that is clicking new, and we would select the story here. And this one looks like shenanigans to me. Now, instead of that being the cover, which, I mean, if you ask me, it's a pretty great cover, but we would hit that edit cover button. And doing so, we can move this around, or we can hit this icon to upload a new picture. This is a brand new iPad, so it has no photos or videos on it right now. But that's how you would upload that media that we would have created in our Canva account. Make sense? So we could upload that photo of Harlow. We can upload a bunch of local t-shirt stories that we've posted. So let's go through and let's make a couple more, and let's get these downloaded onto our Square One page so we can see exactly what this looks like. All right, so I'm going to start from scratch because you guys know me. I like to start with a blank canvas. I like the idea of using icons instead of photos for whatever reason, and just kind of looks cartoony, and I like it. That's not to say it's better or worse than using real photos. It's just what I'm gonna do. So we've got our blue background. We can obviously change that. We can change that to a black background, and we can have this be white. We can throw something on top of that. But as long as I stick to my brand colors, I feel pretty good about that. So let's find an image for like love, right? For Kansas City. We love Kansas City. We can create something instead of just choosing one of these icons, right? I like a good heart, but we can move that here and then throw some text in there. I make it big so we can read it. Move that up. I like to change my font so I can get that little serif nice and good in there. Beautiful. Make it a little bigger. It's very I Love New York-esque. We're going to go KC. And we can, let's see, move that a little bit, center it, move that heart up, give us some room. All right, so that would be one that we could add to our story highlights. So let me go ahead and download this just so I can show you guys what this looks like. You don't have to download it with a transparent background. Downloading as a PNG is perfect. We're going to download that. I'm going to go ahead and try to airdrop that to this iPad so we actually have something on this iPad to work with, and I'm going to show you guys how we would do that. Again, if you guys have any questions as we go along, I would love to answer those for you. And if you guys use, Instagram stories or use these highlights, let us know, because I would love to take a look at your page and, learn from you guys as well. I like the design element of a lot of this, but you can tell, like, from our Square One page, we don't do as many stories as we probably should. But we're all just learning together. So let me see if I can get this downloaded. I can at least get it to my phone. All right, so I'm gonna just talk you through what I'm doing right now. I'm gonna go ahead and use this icon as a new cover. You guys are gonna like this here in a minute. I'm gonna edit this cover. I'm gonna upload that. I love KC. Boom, boom. Add it. Now let's see what this looks like on the iPad. One thing. All right, here we go. Instagram. Let's refresh this page. And we can see that I love KC highlight is right there. So what I can do is kind of go through and edit some of these stories. I can remove this from the highlight, or I can edit this highlight. What I'm going to do is edit that cover. We can make it something completely different. Let's look at our stories. This one I just made today, so let's do that. I'm going to share that. No, it looks like I'm doing the same thing over and over again. I'm going to go ahead and remove that, remove it. Okay, here we go. Have fun with your stories, you guys. You can add some music to it, have a good time, tag some people, use some hashtags. Absolutely go for it. But I'm going to go back here. That way, I'm going to hit this wheel of KC. I'm going to go to more. I'm going to edit that highlight. I'm going to edit the cover, and I want it to be not this anymore. Let's cancel that. Stories. Well, there we go. So now we've got I Love KC. We're about to get this Canva class started. So a lot of this, I do need to just let you guys know, most of this is going to be done from your phone, not your iPad, unless you use your iPad for everything, and maybe you do. I certainly don't. But a lot of this is going to be done from your iPhone or from your Android, whatever you guys are currently using. And it's going to be a lot simpler of a process to do so. But if we go back in here, all you're going to do is download these. Like, once you get all of these exactly the way you want them. So we love KC. In fact, we might even make this a little blue heart just so we have, branding across the board. Then we can go through and we can edit this, and we can change this one to something completely different. So we like eating a lot of food in Kansas City. So let's do some food graphics. Love that. And we can make that our Square One blue. We can pull that up a little bigger. And again, you can add text to these. You can add as much as you want. The thing that you're going to want to pay attention to is this circle, because you can see that it's a circle here. You're going to have things cut off if you go outside of that circle. So just make sure that you stay within those parameters, color within the lines, because it will get cut off if it gets any larger. All right. So we would download that, upload it to our Instagram story, and edit that cover. So we've kind of covered most of this process. So I know it seems like maybe a lot of work for something that you can just use an image for. What I would suggest is that if you are in a very specific industry, that you can kind of segment some of your products or your services out into different categories. This would be a really great way for you to do that. Step one, have an Instagram account, right? Step two, utilize your Instagram stories function, because these highlights aren't going to make a difference if you're not actually utilizing stories. So that would be kind of like step two in the process. And then step three is going and editing these folders so that other people can view them. Just to give you some more examples, let's look at maybe a t-shirt shop here. I love Charlie Hustle. So they're very similar in the fact that they like using these icons, right? So they've got their collegiate, the sporting, their communities, right? Face mask, Arrowhead, Kansas City Heart, rewards. So if we click on the collegiate, we're going to get all of their college t-shirts, right? And that's where all of those are going to live. And this is a story that they shared, we can see 46 weeks ago. And if we go over to the sporting, right, they shared this one 8 weeks ago because they had new sporting t-shirts. So whatever your product or your service is, this is, stories are a great way to promote those, but highlights are a great way for people to see it later. And you think, well, people probably aren't actually looking at the highlights. You'd be surprised. A lot of people do go through these highlights, especially if they're looking for something really specific. So you can kind of see the examples of a lot of these. Their mask, their Arrowhead stuff, the Kansas City Heart. Another thing people can do is, we got our lovely guy, Paul Rudd here, who always reps KC and especially the Charlie Hustle brand. So you can share those things to your story as well, especially if somebody famous like an influencer is wearing your product or using your service. Lance Bass, why not? So you can kind of see here what that would look like if you had something like very specific and branded just for you. All of these like muted colors are a part of the Charlie Hustle brand. And then you've got the option of using photos itself. So whatever's easier for you, whatever is aesthetically pleasing for you, and whatever your customers are actually looking at. So what I would do from here is get on Instagram and just click on a couple pages that you follow and see, one, if they're utilizing those highlights, and then jump back on there again and see how frequently people are doing stories. See if they're using icons versus if they're using photos versus if they're just utilizing the very first image in that story. There's lots of different options when it comes to these Instagram highlights, but you can get as creative as you want. So you can see that in the one that we created, we actually created the circle around it. Charlie Hustle, just if we wanted to get something that would look like that, we could just take that circle away and give us our brand color back there and do something like that. And when we went to upload it, it would default to that circle. And so we would not lose the background color. It would just automatically be cut to that circle. So it's a short class, you guys. If you guys have any questions, again, please reach out. Some home staging businesses I see going on in here. So there's a lot of really awesome stuff that you can do with your Instagram stories. I'm sure when you're staging those homes, you get them to look just right, and how quickly those homes sell, right? Like those homes sell quickly because you've staged it in a professional, like aesthetically pleasing way. So that stuff works really well on Instagram, and you definitely be able to utilize those in your Instagram highlights. So again, short class today, you guys, but that's because this topic is really, really specific. If you have any questions about this, and I'm sure you do, please reach out to me. Megan will drop my email in the comments. And of course, as always, you guys can fill out that survey for me. It'd make a world of difference. If you want a one-on-one, so if you want specific questions about Instagram or Facebook or any social media or your business in general, reach out because we are ready to meet you. We've got an awesome facility that you can, of course, come to. We've got a coffee shop here. It's very tasty, but we are a completely mobile unit at the library, so we can come to you. We can come to your business. We can meet you at the local coffee shop, wherever, and sit down and really take a look at your social media, at your business plan, at your marketing plan, and get you connected with the right resources for you and your business. So fill out that survey. If you do want a one-on-one, there's a place in that survey for you to leave your email address. We will reach out to you and get something scheduled. Play around with Instagram. Love Instagram. It's something that's continuing to grow as the demographics kind of change a little bit with social media. Lots of people are flocking to Instagram. Definitely the younger demographic has been there for a while. And because Facebook is, I hate to say it, for old people now, Instagram's definitely something that's going to be the future, if you will. So survey, if you want a one-on-one, please reach out to me. Let me know how I did. We'll play around with some more technology in the coming days, and hopefully we get this this Canva class kind of wrapped up next week with more fun things on Instagram. That being said, if you want to see something specific in Canva, I know we've had a couple people reach out and want something, how to build a flyer or how to build like those physical things. Let us know in that survey as well, because that is another class that we could put on. If it's not a class we're going to put on, it's something that we can definitely sit down one-on-one with you and help you create that for your business. So I appreciate it, you guys. I hope you guys have an awesome Thursday. Take care, play around with Canva, and tag me in some stuff. I want to see it. So see you guys later. Bye.